What do you want, Chaos?
Yeah, get out of here. We'll kick your ass again. I got no problem with instant replay.
We will take what is ours.
What was he talking about? That was Vickers. He just showed up here. He could attack us at any time. What's going on? What are you talking about? Who are those people you saw? Talk to me. Say something. Are we gonna fight back? What's going on? How am I supposed to know what to do? This is our house. What's happening here? Hey. What are we gonna do here? I mean, what's the plan?
We finished the review. Now.
Wait.
What?
They're coming for us. We can't run like this forever.
Yeah, and what am I supposed to do about it? What do I know? What do you know?
Nothing. That's why I want to sit down and talk about it.
What is there to talk about? Okay? You know, we just established we know nothing. What are we supposed to do? Talk to the meat coasters and ask them where these people are from and...
Phoenix, that's it. You're a mad freaking genius!
Oh, shut the hell up!
No, seriously, think about it. Dr. Maximilian Mayhem, Explode Havoc, they are the meat coasters. They've got to know something.
You're right. But wait, we should take some time and think about this first, you know, figure out exactly what we want to ask them. I mean, apart from us, they're completely alien entities. In the meantime, I think we should finish this review. It should give us plenty of time to think.
You're right.
Alright, start it up. The 18th episode begins with a whole lot of sound and fury, but if we've learned anything about this show by this point, it's that it signifies nothing, and this is no exception. Basically, Maya and Mitsuomi have decided to team up to prevent Aya from going Dark Super Saiyan or something, but because Masataka is irrelevant, he just gets trampled by a legion of men in black.
Of course, he's the one who actually finds Aya, which should tell you everything you need to know about the intelligence of all the main characters. And this leads to a very funny, yet very creepy sequence that I'm going to assume is a fantasy that the writers had when they were in middle school.
Listen, I have a favor to ask you. Takayanagi-senpai, could I spend the night with you tonight? I really don't want to go home.
Well, I understand, but I'm sure that the captain would want you to... Huh?
So does that mean no?
Huh? 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 Huh?
This is mostly creepy right from the get-go. Aya obviously just doesn't want to go home because Maya has stolen the man she loves away from her, and she's afraid of doing something that she'll regret. On the other hand, Masataka's intentions are transparently disgusting.
Aya's gonna spend the night in my room. Is this alright? Is this really alright?
So what would you like to eat? Do you want chicken or fish or vegetables maybe?
You know, I could really go for some breast meat.
Meanwhile, Dr. Bunshichi gives his prognosis for Soichiro and Bob.
I think you've finally had enough. Now drag your asses home, take a shit, and go to bed.
Well, Doctor, what seems to be the problem?
Well, these two seem to have heavily overdosed on getting their asses kicked. As you can see, they are bound and handcuffed. Classic symptoms of advanced stage ass whooping.
And what would you prescribe?
My best medical advice would be for them to go home, take a shit, and go to bed. Don't forget, these are men. None of those pussy bandages or medicine for them.
I hope that's his prescription for everything.
It will be now.
After Soichiro gets his ass kicked worse, Maya and Mitsuomi have an incredibly contrived scene where she monologues about the Chokuto Reiki, information that they would both know given that they were close to Sheen. It's also pointless because it's all stuff we already know. Next!
We cut to Masataka, A Stalker's Fantasy, Part 2. While Aya gets herself all worked up cooking dinner, Masataka turns gradually into a rapist.
I'm looking forward to eating it. I can barely contain myself.
Well, I'm just about done here. I hope you're still excited about it.
Oh, I'm definitely excited about it. I'm excited about tonight.
If he rapes her, we bail.
Agreed.
Because Masataka has obviously never spent any time with any female ever, he proceeds to pig out at top speed while Aya just looks on in horror. Yeah, dude. She's so turned on right now.
Aya needs to take a shower, so Masataka, who is almost indistinguishable from one of Chris Hansen's guests at this point, sneaks in to take a peek at her. Because that's what adolescent males do.
Wait a minute. What the heck am I doing? That was really close. I was just about to do something that I know I would eventually live to regret.
Oh, okay, so he is human. I mean, I know I've been hard on him so far, but at least now he's...
But you know, I may never get a chance like this again. In fact, I know I won't. This is possibly the only chance God is ever gonna give a poor, pathetic soul like me!
Alright, you know what? You get no credit for me whatsoever anymore. I like you less than Maya now.
Oh, come on. Don't you think that's a tad extreme? Oh, no. Yeah, it turns out that Aya is so not over Soichiro yet, she's still really hurt by both him and Wait, no! That's what I said before! We already knew this! We didn't need a shower scene to establish it!
Anyway, Aya stumbles out of the bathroom in her towel, but is out of breath, drained, and running a fever.
Wow, she's running a fever.
When was the last time she took a shit?
Masataka actually puts Aya to bed without raping her. Yes, Virginia, there is a god today. And she has a fever dream.
Aya.
This katana will only make you unhappy. I'm taking it with me.
No, wait! Big brother! I can't move. I can't speak!
Don't end up like me, Aya.
Big brother, don't go! Come back! Don't take it, please! Without that katana, big brother!
I wasn't able to wait.
I guess he's trying to warn her about the power of the sword and how dangerous it is, but because she's such a blanking idiot, she just blindly nods and claims she's strong enough. Right. You're the one who sobs uncontrollably and becomes useless when the guy who you know hasn't been into you from day one continues to affirm his original feelings. But, yeah, you're powerful enough to wield the sword that your badass brother couldn't tame. You're an idiot. Anyway, she wakes up to find the sword in the kitchen where Sheen put it in the dream. Wait, was it a dream or not? Make up your damn mind!
Since Soichiro and Bob are refusing to take their medicine, Bunshichi carries them home and drops them off, but Chiaki has some questions.
Excuse me, but we met before, didn't we? Back at the bowling alley?
Oh yeah, I'm remembering you now. Those nice tits help jog my memory.
I would say something, but he's making satirical humor, so I'll let it slide. Chiaki demands to know about what really happened, the one thing Maya promised to tell them, but then didn't. But Bunshichi doesn't like the idea.
Why don't you make Natsume tell you?
I'll show you my tits!
Well, it's gonna keep you up until morning. It's one hell of a long story.
But, because we've wasted this entire episode on redundant exposition, that's where it ends. I guess we'll be starting the real flashback story in the next installment.
Why couldn't this story just be about what was going on in the flashbacks? You know, with Sheen and Bunshichi and everyone. I mean, it would have been 13 episodes, and it would have been way better.
Why, Fox, you're so silly. Then we wouldn't have anything to complain about.
Yeah, I guess. Wait, what?
Natsume's already told you guys a little bit?
Yeah, but the only thing we were told was the basic stuff. We want you to fill us in on the details.
Yeah, it might have been good to know that, wouldn't it? Oh, wait. That was the story that Natsume promised to tell, but then when Bunshichi told her to tell everything, she told them everything but. Thanks, you stupid cricket-haired whore.
If we didn't hate her already... Wait. I can't actually imagine not hating Maya. Never mind. Regardless, it's time for another flashback vacation. This time, the one that we've been wanting to see.
The flashback begins with Sheen returning to school, and already there are major problems. Everyone fears him, but Sheen decided that being Sephiroth's twin wasn't terrifying enough, so he decided to dress as a Nazi pirate?
Arr! Where do you keep your Jews? And yes, we know that the swastika predates the Nazis by centuries, but Hitler was the one who turned it sideways on its edge, like on Sheen's eye patch. He's displaying it not like other cultures did, but like the Nazis did. Is this where the story goes from here? Sheen decides to make up for all his horrible crimes against the Japanese by killing an equal number of Jews? If so, I changed my mind. I don't think I want to see this flashback anymore.
Yarr! And we'll make it for all our scurvy by drinking this here orange juice. Yo-ho-ho! Yarr. Arr. Orange juice. Yarr.
Anyhow, it turns out that the night before, Mitsuomi and Captain Adolf Sternbrow disbanded the Katana Club, but didn't mention it to Bunshichi. Yeah, I'm sure that'll go over well.
Bunshichi!
You selfish punks!
Do you know how bad you reek right now?
I'm sure I do! I just did 50 squats! My bits are feeling good and stinky! I call this move my armpit of anger! Just make sure you get a good whiff!
If any other character in any other show did this, it would be annoying and stupid. But honestly, Bunshichi makes it work.
Because they couldn't finagle an excuse for fight scenes in this flashback, they resort to a martial arts tournament. Wait, really? There's no way this is actually going to be the story. This is going to be some BS backdrop going on in the background while we find out about Sheen's death, isn't it?
Well, I guess they desperately needed something to drive the plot, as we see the guys forming their own group, but they only have 3 instead of the required 5. And Bunshichi is still hobbling around. Naturally, because Sheen doesn't know the definition of the word diplomacy, this happens.
Natsume, I don't give a rat's ass whether or not you make a new club. However, This dojo is home to the 1st and 2nd karate clubs. So I don't know where you were planning on hanging that sign, but it ain't gonna be here.
But why can't they share it? Oh, wait! They probably don't like sharing their club with Nazis!
Let us use your dojo or I will exterminate the Jews.
No deal.
Yar! Then you'll be forced to watch me plunder your wares and cast your personal life asunder!
You know you're a Japanese high school student, right?
Belay that, matey!
Stop talking like that or I'll be forced to fight you to the death!
Yar!
Toxic killer armpit stint attack!
But because things are way too awesome with just the 3 of them, they decide as men that they wouldn't be truly happy without someone around to make their lives miserable. So they recruit Maya to be their 4th fighter.
You know what? That's the only explanation I buy. Or maybe they were hoping that by having Sheen build this club, that Maya would start hunting them so that they would have an excuse to kill her. Just saying, if they were clever enough...
In your dreams. Next we see Mitsuomi hard at work punching breasts again, but this time he's apparently doing much better.
Looks great. I've never seen him this dialed in before. He's definitely over that slump he was in.
Look, we're not mice. This is the same animation. He looks just as good now as he did the last time we saw him doing this when you said he was slipping. Just adding cool music doesn't make it look better. We're supposed to take your word for it. Thanks, lazy animators.
After we see that the guy in blue is an idiot.
What is this old man trying to create? All that he seems to be doing is cramming as much talent as possible into this human-shaped shell.
Seriously, what does that even mean? And this makes Master Dogen pleased? I don't know. We cut to... Oh no!
Cicadas!
After that, the scar-headed teacher, who will go on to achieve the height of jizz-stenched hands, explains the importance of the tournament.
The Imperial Martial Arts Contest. It's the biggest event on campus. It's also the selection process for the Executive Council President and its members.
Can I say something here?
Excuse me, but wouldn't an election be far more democratic? I mean, this seems like a plot with a lot of holes.
That's it! I'm splitting your head like a coconut!
No, none of that actually happens. Instead, all the kids go right along with the idea that the strongest martial artist should rule them, even though we know that this results in Mitsuomi becoming president, a guy equivalent to Hamlet in daddy issues. I guess they're lucky Sheen dies. Holy crap. Yes, I will be your new Führer. Welcome to my house of pain!
So, have you thought about joining us?
Because this show has been way too classy as of late, we cut to a full-screen shot of Maya's panties. Why, you might be wondering?
Don't try to upset me by looking at my panties, because I could really care less.
Yes, we know you're a gigantic slut and you want the world inside of you. But all we want to know is if you're going to enter the tournament or not. Stop torturing them and just say yes already.
Ever since Sheen went and wiped out the entire Katana Club, his image has been really bad.
I wonder why that could be.
We've gone over this about a dozen times already. But here's a convenient list of things that Shin has done that would legitimately warrant people running in the opposite direction of him. Feel free to pause the video if you want to get a better look or something, but it's nothing you don't already know. It's only the characters in this show that are too dumb to figure it out themselves. Mitsuomi and Maya decide to fight over her entering the tournament or not. So given that neither of them have ever played video games on screen, we cut to an arcade where both of them are apparently pixel gods, and they fight to a draw on every game there.
They continue to wander around town, engaging in every padding scene they come across, but nothing is decided. Finally, they decide to just leave it up to a fortune machine. Really? You know that renders all the scenes that just occurred pointless, right? Oh, that's right. No one cares!
Maya feels something warm between her legs, and it makes her uncomfortable. So she steals the fortune before Mitsuomi can read it, because unresolved plot threads are so interesting.
No, instead we get a flashback within a flashback where we see that Maya's parents, who apparently had a few too many chromosomes, gave her the Chokuto Reiki when she was still a child.
Wow, that's great!
Hands up! This one's mine. When Father handed this katana to me, he gave me very strict orders. He said I shouldn't let anyone touch it no matter what.
Uh-huh. That'll last.
You know what? If you beg me and tell me that you really, really want to see it, I just might let you hold it for a little bit.
Wow! Great decision-making, parents! How could they not have thought something like this might happen? Why didn't they just lock the sword away in a chest or bury it? Why did they give it to their child like a friggin' toy?
Basically, because the sword is like crack cocaine to Sheen, it fries his frail childhood mind, leading to all the scenes we saw where he could barely engage reality and couldn't even see Maya in front of him in this jail cell.
Then, because every scene involving Sheen up to this point hasn't been quite dark enough, it's revealed that the people he murdered were actually his parents.
I'm sorry, but I really don't understand the point of this character development, especially being told by Maya personally. It comes off like she's made peace with this and just freely wants to tell people about it, instead of bearing the deep emotional and spiritual scars that a traumatic event like that should entail. Remember, she's a teenager in high school. This is frickin' ridiculous. It makes her seem even more like an evil mastermind because she comes off as an emotionless, inhuman thing by relaying this story so coldly after a day of fun with Mitsuomi.
Oh man, today's been great. You know, I have so much fun when I'm around you, Maya. What do you want to do next?
I'm going to relay the story of how my brother killed my parents, and then feed on your soul. This next sequence is really, really awkward, and we want to just skip it, but it has to be seen.
I'm gonna carry him on my back. You've been carrying that load for far too long. You're not alone anymore.
There you go with those cheap lines that tug at my heart.
Okay, moving on. The next day, Maya shows up to the club, dragging the street rat that mouthed off in class, and now that the team is completed, the episode ends.
I really want to know why the writers thought that Maya would be totally okay with her brother after he murdered her parents. You know, I also want to know why they want us to sympathize with this guy after we know what he did also.
Well, it's obvious to me that her parents are nothing short of evil. I mean, just from what we've seen, they probably did such inhuman, unspeakable things as withholding sugar after 9 o'clock. They totally deserve to die.
They would do that.
The next episode begins with Sheen having a grisly acid flashback of his parents walking around like they were after he killed them, his father carrying his own severed head, and his mother with her head sliced in half vertically. They taunt him for a bit, and the scene starts to make sense, but then...
I've had it with you! That's enough!
This is why the show fails. Sheen doesn't sound troubled or disturbed by their presence. He sounds annoyed. He looks annoyed. He doesn't have any lasting reaction to this, just this moment of anger, and that's it. You murdered them! If he had any humanity left, he would be grieved by his own actions. Instead, the wandering spirits of the parents he murdered are just an annoyance. Yeah, you are a frackin' heartless Nazi.
Meanwhile, that unidentified man from earlier makes a flashback cameo to inform Sheen that Maya went out on a motorcycle ride with Mitsuomi, which, you know, they obviously have time for given the whole martial arts tournament thing that they were so serious about in the last episode.
Well, I guess I'd better get going then.
Anyway, the two arrive just in time for a contrived dramatic pose that holds no weight, and the tournament begins. Wait, what the hell? How can a high school afford a stadium bigger than the Astrodome?
Only the 5 final matches are held down there.
Oh, okay, well that explains everything. Wait.
Anyway, the three have a casual, lighthearted conversation about how a guy was sniped with arrows last year when they were attacked by ninja.
You're going nowhere!
This scene should be cool, but instead it's polluted by panties, and all the cool fighting takes place while literally 2 lines are spoken. Off screen.
Yo, Let the little whippersnappers take this one. Us old fogies can just sit back and watch.
Hey, who are you calling old?
So, this is what the preliminaries are all about.
Kind of fun.
Bullshit! These worthless idiots cannot beat Ninja.
Dude, this show doesn't deserve that much energy. Anyway, Sheen has another hallucination where he becomes convinced that Mitsuomi is the one he's been having visions of. Besides his inconvenient dead parents, who will be the end of him.
I can't just stand by and let him take everything that I care about, and in return, leave me with nothing.
Hey! Insane person! Yeah, you! If your sister having a boyfriend works out in your mind to that guy taking, quote, everything you have and leaving you with nothing, that's when you know you need therapy. Your sister can have relationships with other people and you. That's relationships. Plural. That's how they work.
Anyway, this kid called Scum, who has apparently replaced Masataka, is morbidly traumatized by the ninja attack, but Bunchichi's manliness doesn't tolerate his whining, so he makes him go to the bathroom by himself.
Alright, you made your point. I'll go by myself.
While you're out, give me some chow mein and coffee. And don't dawdle.
Wow. Bunshichi treats tits with more respect. Poor Scum.
Meanwhile, Maya and Mitsuomi beat the crap out of a team of sumo wrestlers, who are apparently also high school students. And Mana shows up again, acting really weird.
You see this pressure point? What if this was the exact point that, when touched, destroys your right arm for the rest of your life?
Why don't we just see what happens? Realize, though, if you destroy my arm, I'll have you for lunch, Miss Kuzunoha.
Just a little joke.
I'm sorry, but does your visit have some purpose? Maybe?
Well, moving on, where's Sheen?
Old man Toto nabbed him. I saw him take Sheen aside a few minutes ago. He said something about some bigwig coming to see him.
To cut down on the drama, Dogen basically is putting a Xanatos gambit into action that will force Mitsuomi to become the greatest martial artist. Literally for great justice, by making Sheen into an absolute evil that has to be stopped. Unfortunately, Sheen needs some more convincing, which cues up the most disturbing sequence in the show as Maya is isolated from her teammates and brutally beaten. Of course, because the twisted freaks that made this show think violence and sex should be mentally linked, this scene is rife with panties and tits. To make matters worse, her clothes are torn off so it looks like she's going to be raped, and with Sheen approaching, the episode ends.
No. This is a bridge too far. This show has not earned a sequence this dark. They completely wasted the last dark dramatic storyline, and now they're double dipping. They're going further even. And you know what? I bet this will all be pointless too.
Yeah, but you know what? Sex and violence sells. So if we make all our characters thinly based on those two things, then, you know what? No one will even care if we put them in situations where they're about to be raped. F***ing sickos.
As expected, when Sheen arrives to find a scene that honestly looks like his sister was violently gang raped, it's good for no one.
Fu Chen steps in to fight Sheen, but that goes about as well as Bambi fighting Godzilla.
Yeah, pretty much everyone's dead. Mana fetches Mitsuomi in an attempt to stop Sheen's uncontrolled wrath, as Sheen is about to kill Isuzu just for being there. Maya wakes up, which justifies not one, but two panty shots before she manages to cry out to Sheen. Which, of course, turns out to be the worst decision possible.
Yeah, get him! Now's your chance. Break his wrist and kick him right in the jaw.
Do something!
What was the point of quote-unquote resolving Mitsuomi's fears in the last flashback if it was still going to be a problem for him? He just stood there and did nothing.
Yeah, but not only that, Master Dogen's plan was pretty damn pathetic, considering that the success of it hinged completely on the assumption that Mitsuomi would stop Sheen. Isn't that something that maybe father and son should have talked over a few times?
Mitsuomi, my brightest child, are you prepared to be Japan's ultimate warrior?
Yes!
And establish justice throughout the land?
Yes!
And stop Sheen once and for all?
Yeah, wait, no. No, not really, no. I mean, I'd like to, but I just can't,
What? But you just said you...
Yeah, it's just this one thing. There's a snake and a centipede, and look, you just really wouldn't understand. I just don't think I can do it.
Damn it. Both of my sons are pussies.
After a whole lot of pointless drama and worrying, Mitsuomi is, apparently, just fine.
They said nothing's wrong with me. He gave me a totally clean bill of health.
Yeah, we'll see about that. Meanwhile, Dogen is pissed off that his son almost died, so apparently he tied up Sheen, blindfolded and gagged him. And why? This is your fault for not being more specific when you said,
"You can feel free to kill as much as you want today."
Anyway, Sheen tears through his restraints and strolls into the hospital, giving the most blatant lie for why he attacked Mitsuomi.
I was looking over my shoulder out of my patched eye. You caught me in my blind spot, and when I finally recognized who you were, it was too late.
Yeah, Mitsuomi's not buying that BS, and neither is Maya, since she screamed his name as he entered the room. I guess he's too evil now to bother having friends.
Oh wait, remember that clean bill of health thing?
When was the last time you took a shit?
Yeah, when Mitsuomi talks about Sheen having taken his life, this is what he means. And with that, the episode ends.
I've just got one request. If you could point me to the main character, or even a character that we're supposed to identify with or care about, I'd really appreciate it. Alright, I'll try. No. That Suichiro! Yeah, it's gotta be him! Yeah? Yeah? Then why isn't he in any of the flashbacks? Damn it. You know what? This could take a while. Let's just keep going.
The next episode begins with several intercut shots of Sheen in the underground dungeon where he was held as a child. One with a woman that I'm assuming is Maya finding him. See, when I ask why we're supposed to care about this character, this is what I mean. If he maybe wasn't so over-the-top evil, and actually faced punishment for the things he did, then I could see him being sympathetic. But as it stands, there's no reason to feel bad for him in light of the horrible atrocities that he has committed ad nauseum.
Meanwhile, the other members of Team Whatever take on a team of 5 captains led by Zombie Bruce Lee?
Okay, now I've seen it all.
Really? Well, have you ever seen Zombie Bruce Lee team up with a guy who fights with a basketball?
No.
So then you haven't seen everything.
After Bunchichi explains that he's the #1 badass in the whole school, something we already deduced without the redundant ranking system, we cut back to the underground prison where Maya demands some answers from Sheen.
Tell me the truth. You have the power of the Dragon's Eye. You knew yesterday's events would eventually transpire. You knew how awful the outcome would be. And still you didn't. Why?
The future is as vast and as varied as the veins on this leaf. There are infinite possibilities for the future, branching out in thousands of different directions. There's no way that I can clearly see what's going to happen. Actually, that's all just a lie.
I'm sorry, Maya, but Why do you like this person who takes pleasure in toying with you and using you as fuel for his rage?
You can hear it now. The sounds of fate.
No, I can't. I can't hear those things.
Liar.
Actually, in this one instance, and only in this one instance, I agree with Maya. Sheen spends the next several minutes attempting to wax philosophical about fate and destiny and causality, but if you wipe away all the rosy prose and all his grandstanding, in reality, he's trying to relieve himself of responsibility for all the horrible actions he's committed. Not because he wanted to do them, but because he was forced by fate. I'm sorry, but that's a load of horse manure.
Even if everything Sheen said was true, even if every point he made was 100% correct, he would still be responsible for his own actions because he wouldn't know it was fate until it had already happened. And if he did know it would happen already because of the Dragon's Eye and didn't act differently, then he's a blood-mongering monster and he did it out of spite. Either way, you are to blame.
The worst part is that after all that guilt-shirking BS, the show still wants us to pity Sheen.
When I looked into his eyes, all I saw was an endless amount of tears welling inside him.
We don't care!
He's the worst kind of evil. He embraces the temptation and vile urges to assault and murder anyone and everyone, then tries to claim immunity by blaming fate, even though he's the one who makes all the choices consciously. He's a coward and a despot. The worst combination imaginable.
Yeah, well, because I can't bear to look at him anymore, we're cutting back to the final round of the tournament, where only the two who were forced to join their stupid club, Bunshichi and Scum, are fighting the team led by the zombie Bruce Lee. Yeah, this'll work. Especially since Scum is worthless, so it's basically Bunshichi versus the world.
Luckily, Mitsuomi shows up and interestingly asks to take them all on. Apparently, internal injuries that shorten your lifespan give you superpowers. Weirdest origin story ever.
Something about him has changed.
Ladies and gentlemen, please bow before your new unholy overlord. Maname!
Red! Winner! Takayanagi!
Because the writers are convinced that no one watching this show for the tits and violence actually want to see fighting, we skip the remaining fights and Mitsuomi retreats to the locker room, clutching his chest.
You're gonna start handing out the awards now.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go have a heart attack and drop dead. Good work, team.
No. Instead, he just vomits blood all over Mana and hallucinates Sheen's face in the puddle. Okay.
Apparently, because of what Sheen did to him, Mitsuomi can only fight for 3 minutes at a time before vomiting blood and losing all his strength. Wow. Something that happens in this show that's actually inconvenient. So that's what that's like. I'd completely forgotten.
Well, it has to be balanced out, so we cut to the hospital where Fu has survived. Wait for it.
Before he went unconscious, he must have used his chi to stop the bleeding and to connect any of the broken bones.
That's right. You thought Chi was a MacGuffin before? No, now it's straight up Deus Ex Machina. They fit Fu's stumps with blades fastened to torso armor, and then Fu decides to try and out-evil Sheen.
I'll show him just what this pain feels like, starting with his sister. I'll rip off her ears, crush in her nose, rip off her fingernails, and chop her fingers into little bits, one after another.
No! I'm sorry, Mr. Chingy-chung, was it? We're going to have to disqualify you.
Yes. It appears that you forgot to select an entire race of people to exterminate, and I'm sorry, until you have more organized goals for genocide, it seems that Mr. Sheen here has you beat.
I'm sorry.
Yes. Better luck next year.
Sheen, sensing a threat to his reign atop the Legion of Doom, shows up and murders the guards along with Fu. Sorry, writers. This doesn't make him the good guy, even if you swap out his Nazi eye patch for a regular pirate eye patch. So, is he a Nazi or a pirate? Choose an identity, damn you!
Maya is shocked because she is that stupid, and Mitsuomi just gets to see the bodies. Because that's how crime scenes work, right? High school students can just come and go as they please. He very quickly realizes it was Sheen's doing, but doesn't tell any of the cops because apparently putting a man away who has murdered multiple people is not a concern. At all.
No. Instead, he goes out looking for Sheen himself, but runs into Maya.
Tell me where Sheen is now!
My brother isn't here!
I know what the truth is, so tell me where I can find Sheen!
My brother isn't here now.
Alright, that's it. I've had it. Mayhem!
I am done playing around. Maya needs to die. Now. She's been oblivious, she's been difficult, she's been frustrating, but now she's harboring a murderer, and she knows it. Sure, when they were children it was tragic. The attachment is understandable and undeniable. But listen to her dialogue in this scene.
What's going on? Why are you acting like this?
She pretends to know nothing whatsoever. That takes conscious effort. She lies about Sheen being there, not to protect Mitsuomi, but to protect the psychotic, demonic murderer from Mitsuomi!
There's a breaking point, and this hooker just crossed it. She's a villain too now. She's complicit in Sheen's crimes. She's not just a speed bump. She is the problem. If Sheen needs to die, she needs to die.
Of course, because the show is obsessed with putting all of its effort into making us like Maya despite all the horrible crap she does, they basically make it seem at this point like she has hardcore Stockholm Syndrome.
Go! I don't want you in my life anymore!
She's obviously lying. But they're making it seem like she's lying because she can't betray the brother who is ruining her life and always has. Like we said, Stockholm Syndrome. Well, I've got one thing to say to that. Screw you.
These characters are not fleshed out enough to stand up under the weight of this psychological examination. We've seen Maya be a horribly dishonest, inconsiderate, cold person throughout the entire show, even to people and in situations that had nothing whatsoever to do with Sheen or Mitsuomi, and yet now we're supposed to buy that this is the reason? We're supposed to feel sympathy for a character that the writers have artistically abused for the sole purpose of fan service? Bullshit.
Anyway, man, I hate this show. Mitsuomi tells Maya that all he needs is 2 months, not forever.
You won't have to cry about this anymore. I'm gonna defeat him for you.
Again, if she was really bound to Sheen emotionally, especially under the trappings of a psychological disorder, she would prevent Mitsuomi from leaving. She would actually cause Sheen to kill him. She would do anything to prevent this, as she loves her brother unconditionally. Instead, she stands by, complicit, which undermines her credibility later when she tries to claim that she hates Mitsuomi for this. Ugh. Whatever. The episode ends!
I swear, if this doesn't get good soon, I'm done. If Mitsuomi doesn't murder Sheen, dismember him, chop him up into little pieces, and flush the flesh shards down a toilet, then drown Maya in the slurry, I'm gonna be disappointed.
The next episode begins as if it's the first episode of a completely unrelated series, with Sheen and Maya heading out to the beach.
I just wanted to sit here and watch the waves with you.
Maya, from here on out, nothing will separate us.
Yeah, you love your sister. It's all totally innocent. You're the best, Sheen.
Because this scene doesn't have a resolution, we cut to a rooftop where Mitsuomi is meeting with Mana to talk about how weird Maya and Sheen are. For approximately the 50th time.
I finally understand how she affects Sheen, and I also see what you were talking about.
And why the hell did it take you this long to notice? Did you forget the part where she was so deranged that she decided to hospitalize all of her and her brother's mutual friends?
It's not your fault. You're a guy, after all.
Rebuttal!
It's the best solution I came up with. I'm doing it to help my brother, because I'm so weak. That's the only reason he wanted to become stronger. So now, I will do my best to tear down everything that he has tried to create. I want to destroy it myself, and gain a strength that not even my brother can match.
Q-E-D, dumbass.
Mitsuomi kind of goes off the rails about how in love with Maya he is, or some such nonsense, but then decides to be really inconsiderate for some reason.
He's trying to take away from me the one person I love most in this world. And I'm not gonna let that happen. Miss Kuzunoha, please don't abandon me on this. I know this'll be hard for you, but I'm afraid it's the cross that you will have to carry.
So, you're asking the girl that you used to have sex with to help you secure a relationship with another girl that you're now in love with. I don't even have a joke for this. How do you make fun of someone this dumb?
We then get a bizarre conclusion to the beach scene with Maya running into the surf and trying to make fun out of the trip while Sheen stands and smiles curtly. This would be a tragic, poignant scene, except for one major problem. We don't care! These are evil, evil people here. Why would we enjoy them having fun? Why would we empathize with their feelings? Why would we want to? The fact that the question why can never be answered by this show demonstrates its biggest failure. We are never given a reason to care about anything or anyone.
Because this show has no idea what tone scenes should have, we have some incredibly uneven build-up to the final fight between Sheen and Mitsuomi. It starts with Sheen explaining that the reason he founded the Jukin Club was to have the fight over the Executive Council presidency, even though he established it was to fight in the tournament, whatever. Then we have a bizarrely comedic scene where Sheen, Maya, Mitsuomi, and Bunshichi engage in childish shenanigans, and it ends with them taking a picture together, all smiling. The show tries to make it sound profound, but it all just comes off as pointless.
This is the first and last photo we'll ever take together, so we all better flash our best smiles.
I don't get it. Be happily in denial because tomorrow one of us dies? That's pretty messed up. And stupid. Ignore the severity of your actions and play up the whole thing like someone's leaving to go to college, when they're actually going to die. Seriously, this is disturbingly ignorant and idiotic.
Anyway, as promised, Mitsuomi wipes the floor with Sheen and...
Break it up! Enough, Mitsuomi!
Please, Mitsuomi, stop it!
Oh, are you idiots serious? Did you really not think that a fight to the death was... to the death?
Mana prevents them from entering the fight, but Bunshichi continues to protest.
I'm going to follow the rules. This will end when one of them loses their will to fight, or ability to fight.
Screw the rules.
Screw the rules. I have white hair.
After Mana slaps Maya's whiny-ass silly, a moment that will live in infamy, the show literally becomes Twilight, as it is revealed that the two are both fighting for Maya. Yep, congratulations. You just out-Mary Sued Bella Swan. Now go drown yourself. Preferably in your own tears and in plain sight.
When Sheen tries to kill Mitsuomi...
Sheen! Sheen, don't!
Seriously, how do none of you idiots get this? He's hardcore demonic evil. If it isn't Maya, it isn't alive to him. It's just a light switch waiting to be turned off. He is a real-life monster. I shouldn't have to tell you this.
Well, you spoke too soon, Fox. Sheen's last-ditch move fails, and he's tossed aside. Mitsuomi moves in to deliver the final blow, but Mana jumps in front of him as Sheen has decided that he can't continue the fight. She tries to comfort him, but then...
In a plot-breaking twist, Sheen destroys everyone standing, even though they were arguing in his defense moments ago. And with Mitsuomi and Mana near death, and after an incredibly pointless metaphysical jaunt, and I swear this happens, Sheen kills himself with one of Mana's acupuncture needles by stabbing it into his own brain.
Let your soul and your tears will stay with me forever.
Okay, so we actually have a couple minor points to dispute here.
I will admit that this scene is very well done. Stripped of everything that came before it, it is an incredibly poignant, tragic scene with a lot of weight, and the build-up is actually not bad. However, this did have an entire show before it that did everything in its horribly mismanaged power to make us despise Sheen and Maya. This show has not earned this scene.
Honestly, we would review the rest of this anime, but there's virtually no point.
Remember that list of offenses Maya claimed against Mitsuomi several episodes ago? Yeah. Well, because that's obviously all just been proven to be total bullcrap, the show tries to scramble one last fight scene as the series is virtually over. That's right. No resolution, no closing bell, just a thrown-together mess that they decided to dub an ending.
Aya refuses to give up the Chokuto Reiki for no reason whatsoever, until Mitsuomi gets in a totally awesome fight where they turn into spirit dragons, also for no reason whatsoever, and then she just tosses it to the ground. Just when it looks like there might be a winner, Maya steps in and ruins it all, and it goes completely unresolved as Aya goes back into delusion mode, convinced that she will one day marry Soichiro. No, really, that is the end.
Now, to be fair, there were actually 2 OVAs that were released with this series, but they're even more pointless.
The Ultimate Fight OVAs basically build up one final fight between a powered-up, black-haired Soichiro and Mitsuomi, but the fight is incredibly disappointing and also changes nothing whatsoever.
This anime had so much potential.
It's obvious from watching this show that the people behind it fully believed in what they were doing. They honestly believed that Maya and Sheen were tragic characters caught in their own destructive downward spiral, and that their story was sympathetic and worth telling. However, they failed completely to give us any characters to care about. Maya and Sheen, as we've said a number of times, are cold, irreverent, inhuman characters. Maya, Aya, and Isuzu exist solely for sex appeal and never evolve beyond that purpose. Soichiro, Bob, Mitsuomi, and every other male character, aside from maybe Masataka, exists solely for cheap violence that never affects their paper-thin characters, and as cool as it all is, never has any weight.
The only character we like is Bunchichi, but even he is virtually irrelevant and never changes. The plot and characters just go nowhere. So aside from the cheap sex and violence that ecchi anime have made taboo, this whole thing is an exercise in futility. None of the epic plot climaxes or tragic orchestra swells accomplish anything. It is the definition of sound and fury signifying nothing, and that's why it's so disappointing. Because in the right hands, with actual characters instead of beat sticks and sex objects, and with an actual plot that resolved, this could have been great. But as it stands, it's barely mediocre.
If you want something with nudity and violence, but, characters you actually can engage and care about, then check out Elfen Lied. It's still very violent, but it is also very disturbing, so you may want to keep that one away from the kids. Still, it's worth a look. Alright, so, what are we doing?
We're not doing anything. You've got to do this.
What am I doing?
You've got to reach out to Max, but not in a way where you bond with him. You see, you've got to reach out to him while you're still yourself.
How am I supposed to do that? I mean, if you think about it, I guess that when we bond with Max and Axe, we're like intense and emotional, but I mean, I guess, what do I try? Relaxing or something? I mean...
Yeah, that's it. Meditation.
Alright, I guess we could give that a try. I don't think this is gonna work.
Sup?
Max, we have some questions.
About us, the keys. I know.
The key is what... How?
I'm inside your head, dumbass, and the keys are what you dumbasses keep calling meat coasters. I wish you'd quit it.
Oh, okay. Sorry. But yeah, where did they come from?
It's a bit of a story. See, about 1,000 years of your time ago, God decided to take one of his days of rest and left the archangels in charge. Michael, Gabriel, and Raphael. Apparently, Michael was his most trusted and God established him as the leader of the other two. Either that, or he just decided that himself. He always was pretty cocky. Anyway, the angels appointed the 12 apostles to take care of matters in heaven while they watched over earth. And, as I'm sure you could guess, they've done a terrible job. They knew that since they screwed up so royally, God would be returning any time to just judge them all to hell. That's when they made us, the keys to Eunoia.
Eunoia?
It was Gabriel that discovered it, a dimension that shapes itself into your mind's desires and pleasures. Eunoia. The archangels wanted to get there, but they were stuck in the heavenly realm. So by utilizing the powers they had as angels, they created us, the keys, one for each of them to leave heaven forever.
Okay, so, assuming I buy all this, how did you end up here? Don't tell me we're not on Earth. I'm not dealing with some Matrix bullshit today.
Nah, don't be an idiot. The keys are rushed out. They weren't completed, but Michael demanded that they be activated because God's return was imminent. So they used us, but it was too soon. We were prototypes, not perfected. So the angels were stranded in limbo. And we ended up here somehow. I don't know how it all worked out.
So what now?
Well, my guess would be that God isn't done napping yet, and so those skeevy limbo dwellers want one more crack at their dream. But they can't find a way to Earth to do it themselves, so they're using the third key as a tool.
You mean Vicar Chaos?
Exactly.
Okay, how do you know all this?
How else? The same way I know everything that you know. The archangels activated us, even so briefly that we bonded with their minds. That's how.
Alright, I guess I don't have a choice but to believe you.
Hey, I know, remember? Just don't bump your head on the way out.
Wait, what?
What did he say? Ah! Damn it! What did he say?
Buckle up.